My play, Fruiting Body, is about a specialist in fungal computing who applies some of her research to her own pregnancy and childbirth process, and the huge and sort of life-altering questions that brings up for her. The research that I worked with for this piece was the work of Dr. Andrew Adamatzky, whose work essentially is proving that it will one day be possible to compute using fungi. And in some of the information that he sent me, he mentioned that one of the possible functions of this will be wearable tech made of fungal mycelium. And that, for me, sort of spiraled into thinking about this recent phase of mine where I was doing a lot of monitoring of the action of my own body when I was pregnant with my child, who's about 15 months now. And that the play sort of spiraled out of that. I think one of the challenges for me in trying to translate these complex concepts into a play was first just wrapping my mind around it. I know little about fungi and even less about computing. And I'm not at all sure that I understood it correctly. So my work is very much Adamatzky's work reflected through the mind of a complete layperson. So it's more dreaming on the idea than anything else. And one of the really fun and interesting parts about that is that I would start to think I was having a wild idea, like, oh, I feel like mushrooms, these electrical impulses, endogenous electrical impulses that mushrooms have, I think they're sort of like language. And I'd be thinking I was real, fringy for thinking of that. And then I'd do a little research, and Dr. Adamatzky is actually one of many researchers on a paper about mushroom language. And I think, I feel like fungi are conscious. And sure enough, Dr. Adamatzky has worked on a paper about mushroom consciousness. The things that I thought I was being sort of, taking creative license with are actually just the way that scientists already know the world works. So I kept having to sort of restart my assumptions, which was a lot of fun. I guess what I hope audiences take away from watching this piece is a curiosity about what the other organisms on the planet know that we don't. Yeah, I think that's it. One of the things that I had to encounter when working on this piece was some of my own assumptions about what a scientist is and about what scientists believe. I think I had this sort of like absurd stereotype in my head that like scientists only believe in the sort of extremely provable basic things of life. And as I researched, I learned, or I think remembered, that when you get deep into science, you get deep into mystery, that scientists working out at the fringes of what we already know are in this sort of magical place, not because there's anything unexplainable happening, but because there are things that are not yet explained happening. And I think that question of what don't we already know is really important for moving forward as humans. So that's why I think this connection of science and theater is a powerful one.